Let's get into this next clip.
One, we done dedicated so much time into building the empire. What's best for the empire, not for me personally? Because a lot of times I'm willing to roll the dice and maybe do something that may not be best for the empire. And that means I got to think for us both. You know what I'm saying? I got to think what's best for me and Sashin. So you know what I did this morning? I got up and got on my story and said, yo, I'm doing an interview with one of my homies from overseas. He a real hustler. I want y'all to follow his page, check him out. That's what I did this morning because I'm thinking about the empire. What's best for the moves me and you make? If we gonna do it, let's go all the way out.
Another clip from the Millionaire Student Show, something like that. But so you know I love decision making. That's my vibe, right? Yeah. Selfless, like. That's what I got out of that. It's more when you're super driven and ambitious and all that great stuff, you kind of make decisions very quickly. And if you're not aware of that, like there's a lot of decisions that you can make wrong because maybe you just didn't consult your team first. You didn't even send a text like, yo, I'm about to do this. You just made a decision without somebody checking you, and not checking you in a negative way, but your decisions affect people as a whole. It's more than just you, even though maybe it is your name, maybe it is your business, maybe it is your brand, but what you say and what you do affects somebody else, whether it's in a small way or in a big way, right? And the way that Ross just broke that down was like, though I may feel a certain kind of way about it, though I may want one thing, I have to think of the empire that has been built. I have to think about what is already in place, because sometimes I could go left real quick. And going left, I could affect people. So let me put others in front of me. Let me let me give them some kind of exposure to what I have going on, right? And so when they win, I win. And I think that is a huge, huge, huge key to leadership. I think that's huge to even just acknowledge, not even necessarily the steps just yet to fix that, but to even acknowledge like, yo, we built this whole thing and I know that I can go left real quick. And that right there, like even for myself, I can just go. Like I don't really consult people sometimes. I'll just go. And even to the point, small things like writing some things, grammar, spelling can make the brand look crazy, right?
Right.
And it's just, and majority of the time when we make decisions super quick because either we don't want to wait on people or we don't want to bother people, it'd be crazy when you do give that task, that situation to somebody else, they actually do it really quick and it's not a bother 9 out of 10 times, right?
That's good.
And we don't really put that in our minds because we're so maybe wired to think if I ask somebody, they're too busy or they got other things going on, or I'm not going to get it in the time frame that I need it because you're already in execute mode. But sometimes we got to slow it down. That's why we have a team that has our back. Like you never want to have a team that is pretty much going to stab you in the back, but 9 out of 10 times you probably have a team that means well by you, that wants to see everybody win, right? And so we have to kind of lean in our team a little bit more and put them up front rather than keep them in the background and you be only the face of everything and you the only one executing because that's going to drain you as a leader. That's going to drain you as a person, right? Because some people may not be like, I'm not a leader. Okay, cool, whatever. You're going to be drained as a person if you take on everything and you take on every decision. So understanding that it's okay to slow it down real quick. It's okay to call somebody. It's okay to text somebody. It's okay to put other people up front and have that, one team, one fight kind of vibe, because it's about the big picture. It's about, as he would like to say, the empire, but it's really about the big picture, the big vision that you had as far as your brand and your business. But Moose.
Yeah.
So you come from a standpoint of already slowing things down for decisions. Like you have certain things in place or you not moving really. But lately you've been like, all right, Nicky, I'm going to update you now. Like I done some things. I'll update you now that it's done. Like talk to the people from the opposite end of I don't make decisions super quick.
Yeah. So for me, understand like the reason for making or taking time to make a decision, it's because you want to think through some of the different possibilities, or you want to make sure that you have all your X's and O's in a row, right? Or your ducks in a row, or you have your I's dotted, T's crossed, as they would say. So like taking that time really just makes you get enough confidence to know that, okay, I'm moving in the right direction. Everything is going to check out, because I know I'm not the only one. We don't like to do double work. Right. So if I can slow down a little bit to avoid having to do something twice or do it over or make so many edits and adjustments and corrections, then to me, that is a valuable move. But here's the other side of it, Nicky. What I started recognizing and appreciating so much more of, and I'm not sure it's just because of 2020 and everything that's happened this year. This has been a year full of lessons. And my biggest lesson was the importance of time. And I started to really value and appreciate time. So while I am going to wait, there's a difference between waiting and taking your time with something.
I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Break that down.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're waiting for direction. You're waiting for instruction. You're waiting for someone to tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. You're letting someone else tell you to, or you're allowing someone else to determine the standard of what is acceptable, what is good, right? When you're taking your time with something, you already have set the spirit of excellence for yourself, that the standard for what you're going to stand for and represent around anything that comes across your desk or your work or your area of mastery and gift, that is going to be at a spirit of excellence, is going to take every ounce of your being to make sure that it's produced at a high level. But you may take your time with it because you want to create that level of masterpiece. So that's what I've noticed, is that there's a level of urgency. There's a proactiveness with taking your time with something, knowing when to slow down, to give it the energy and the attention that it needs, as opposed to you're letting time slip because you're waiting for someone else to come to you and tell you, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you go do that next? So regardless of what level you are or what position you play in a team, what role you're in, whether you're the leader, whether you're the partner, whether you're just an employee hoping to be in a role of leadership at some point, you try being more proactive in what you do. And I can wholeheartedly guarantee that the person that you're working with, the position that you're pursuing, it's going to come much closer to you. That role, that opportunity is going to present itself much sooner, because now you're embodying the characteristics that the role needs. And that's what you like, as you spend time around high performing individuals, entrepreneurs, athletes, and we've been fortunate to be around high levels from both industries, you start to see that the tightness of their routine, the scheduling around every minute and hour of their day. Not to say that they're like auto-programmed robots, but they understand the value of time. And if they can do something now, they're going to strike it with a level of intensity and urgency that it keeps their momentum hot, that they're very sharp and focused when it's time to work. And once they're done, then they can kind of like let off or let back and chill out a moment. So that is what I would say has been my realizations over the last, 6 months or 6 months or so of this year.
Mm-hmm. Well,
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I know you have some too, but I want to ask you this because as someone from your perspective now, who naturally, without even having to think about it, you're gonna pull the trigger, right? You're not gonna sit back and think twice about something. What has made you take appreciation for knowing when to slow down, or why you should listen, or maybe get the opinion or perspective of someone who may be not choosing to do it the way you would prefer to do it?
So it goes based off, I've done a lot of work over multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Based off decisions that was made too quickly. There's a lot of, I think this year, actually the past 2 years, I've appreciated details a little bit more. I appreciate those people who, can point out some of the things that need to be improved in my life, improved in, in business and stuff like that. I could appreciate that more because when I was at a point of making decisions a little bit too quickly, I didn't have that. So I didn't have really the guidelines or the roadmap of what to do. Right? It was more of a learn as you go. And, to get to a certain part, sometimes you have to do that. So I don't regret doing any of the decisions that I've made super quick. But now I'm at a point where it's like, okay, what does this affect? What is this going to stop if we do this right now? Because if I'm thinking spontaneous and if I pull the trigger now, that means something has to stop. That means something has to be delayed and pushed back from the original deadline that it was supposed to, or I'm taking away resources from something that was almost about to be done. And being on kind of both ends of from a leader standpoint and on a team standpoint, I can see when a leader does that, how it affects the team. Like I thought this was going one way, but you're telling me to go this way, and then you'll come up with something else. So now we have 3 or 4 projects that are incomplete. And so is fast decision-making always the route to go when at the end of the day, it actually stops some of the big vision things, So at thinking about that, I have to appreciate slowing it down sometimes. I have to appreciate talking it out sometimes, because if I don't, I can make a mistake that is going to cost me more time to fix, regardless of how big or small it is.
Yeah.
And I know at this time of my life, just like how you said earlier, like time is super important, and as you grow within a brand, within a business, you start getting momentum. Like you ain't got all the time to fix it before. Before it was like, oh, don't worry about it. We go, and we'll fix it along the way. I hate that statement from now on. I hate it. It sucks. It's so much work towards the team and not you.